Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Max, and today's video it's probably going to be a little bit shorter. Admittedly, kind of feeling under the weather and couldn't fall asleep until super late, so like I missed my stream today, which kind of sucks. But aside from that, it's not a big issue. Today's video discussion, I kind of wanted to hear your guys' opinions on a general thing that for the sake of DBD, I don't really have a formed opinion on this, but it's something I've noticed has happened over time, at least when I've been playing it. And it's that perks in the game are strong and meta defining just because perks exist. And what I mean by that is like certain playstyles are incentivized and or established because certain perks allow that playstyle and make them very effective. And simultaneously, those perks or similar perks can exist to counter a playstyle, but I don't know if that's exactly healthy for the game. And I guess my question for you guys is like, is that something you would say is healthy? For example, and because it's kind of very vague when I talk about it, from the survivor side, at least prior to Borrowed Time being base kit, Borrowed Time was, in my opinion, one of the strongest perks for Survivor, and I don't think anyone would really disagree that old Borrowed Time prior to it being base kit was very strong. And I think partially that's because being around a hook, like proximity camping a hook, was a very viable and strong strategy for killer. And so being able to secure a teammate running away at the cost of probably exchanging hook stages, with your teammates, so your teammate's only on first hook, but they get to run out and you get chucked on hook. That's better than you not running Borrowed Time and now both of you just going down right in front of that hook. It was a lot more pressure, and something like Borrowed Time there kind of made proxying like a harder play style to play, and that's what made it such a good perk. In a similar fashion, old Decisive Strike before it got nerfed was a massive stun that you would get hit by if you were to choose to tunnel someone when they get off of a hook. And in that time it somewhat disincentivized tunneling. The other option, which another person in the YouTube comments had actually made me aware of, so shout out, thank you for kind of making me realize that too, was that you just slug the person. You would just knock them down to the ground. They're stuck with their Decisive Strike timer running out and they can't do anything about it. And then that's kind of it. Like, okay, their timer runs out, you could pick them up again, and they're slugged, so there's still pressure. But Decisive Strike made tunneling a weaker playstyle. And even then, like, slugging, well, Unbreakable exists, and Unbreakable is one of the strongest perks in the game. And because Unbreakable exists, you had a pretty weak playstyle towards slugging, because there's just a chance that you've lost the pressure that you've built up because someone picks themselves up off the ground, can revive the person that's down next to them, and all of a sudden your chase that got 2 downs where you're trying to secure everyone off of an objective is no longer good. And I guess for me it's wondering, like, why is it that there are perks that are so meta defining in terms of adjusting playstyles that, like, it seems like a lot of their inherent strength comes from the fact that they mitigate a playstyle even if they're not in the game. And I kind of mentioned this before, and I know Otsdarvis talked about it, but even something, for example, like Dead Hard. Not everyone needs to run Dead Hard, but because the perk exists, it's gonna make me wait before I M1 somebody, even if it means they're about to get really close to a window or a pallet, just because I have to be aware of it, like I have to think about it. And perks like that, like, obviously there are some good ones just flat out, like Reassurance, Prove Thyself, and yeah, like Reassurance counters camping. Does that make it a good perk? I mean, it helps against it, but Reassurance is just a strong perk in of itself. And it's kind of like, why and where is that perk getting its value, if that makes sense? And the same thing can be said for killer side too. I don't want to make it, because all my examples are because I play a lot of Survivor, but even like for killers too, the way that you objectively can interrupt Survivor from the killer's perspective is to interrupt their main objective, which is progressing generators. And at least I've only played for, I think it was like January 2021 when I started. So I haven't played the game for a long time. But in every meta, quote unquote, even though there's only really been 2 for me, in my opinion, in both of the times that I've played, the strongest loadouts / builds you could bring were just slowdowns. Things that directly contest the objective of the Survivor. And it's like, okay, yeah, like before it was Ruin Undying, Pop Goes the Weasel, Corrupt Intervention. That was like the go-to meta prior to the meta shakeup where Corrupt locked 3 gens down for 2 minutes. Ruin Undying was extremely strong and got a lot of gen pressure out quickly. And Pop Goes the Weasel was absolutely a frustrating perk to go against when you could just slap a bunch of gen progression off in one kick. With the meta shakeup now, I personally think, and I don't know if it's true or not, Eruption, Call of Brine, Jolt, Pain Resonance is the new meta, and it's more slowdown. And, you know, it's like, it's meta for killer because you're directly contesting the objective of your opponent. And I guess kind of in the same way for Survivor, it's a little bit true, because with something like, you know, Decisive Strike and Unbreakable, Borrowed Time, the things that I've named, like, those perks are also very strong because in a sense, they're kind of directly contesting the killer's objective of getting you out of the game, getting more hook stages. Obviously right now, the game is, you got to get 4 kills. That's like the go-to. Doesn't matter if you do it in 4 hooks and everyone just doesn't pick each other off the ground, or you get, you know, 12 separate hook actions and you went back and forth with everybody. It's just about getting kills. And I wanted to know what your guys' take was on that. Like, do you think that's considered healthy for the game? Do you think that perks like that should be, I wouldn't say like meta defining, but is good balance for the game around the fact that perks essentially mitigate effective play styles? I will do my best to get back to everyone who messages in the comments. I've been loving the feedback and all the support on the video, so thank you so much for doing that. Admittedly, it's taking quite a bit of time out of my day just because I need to do some job applications and other like personal responsibility things, so I'm trying to get to everyone's messages, and thank you. Like, bottom of my heart, true felt thank you for the support. I'm really happy the channel's growing the way that it is. Even if it feels very slow, it's a lot more than I was expecting, and to kind of make that a reality is really nice. So thank you to everybody for watching the videos. It's super kind. Let me know what you guys think. I'd be really happy to hear what you guys would say regarding this topic. And yeah, hopefully in the next video I'll have something more prepared to talk about. But I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and take it easy. Peace.